turn the stones.
Well, I guess 17 to them is turning the stones over.
Yeah, but not all. My thing is that these coaches need to be tiered. What's bothering me about it is
You
that
got the list up?
I'm about to. What's bothering me the most about it is that does it scream that you don't know what you're looking for? If I'm hiring somebody and I have a certain position, right? I need to hire my network a network admin guy. I was in IT for a long time, right? There's a certain criteria I want. I want you to have a certification. I want you to have some experience, things of that nature. When you get here, you're not going to know my environment. I will show you my environment, but these are the parameters I want. This is like the equivalent of looking at everybody that either got, now there's an A+ certification. That's a basic entry level. I can work on a computer. There's a network one with Microsoft Plus, Microsoft certification. It's all these different things. You sit there and now I got to have this wide net when really you probably only need about 5 or 7 to really identify.
But what I read was that they are interviewing all these people to get an idea of how they would put a package together for Caleb. What would they do to make Caleb a better quarterback? So if they're doing that, then they would have to have this wide variety of applicants to see and measure what each person would do just to get an idea to kind of, process of elimination deal. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but like how many, I don't want a first-time head coach cutting his teeth on this situation. I have a second-year quarterback who's trying to learn how to be in the NFL. I already have a defense that's pretty much ready to go. And I have a general manager that kind of got spanked a little bit because it's kind of exposed of him still basically figuring out how to be a GM. So I don't need another rookie head coach on top of this situation. I'd rather someone that's a guiding hand, a steady hand. Now, some of these coaches that's coming in here, you have some head coaching experience. You've been through a few things. Why didn't it work for you? Why did it fail your last stop, right? And there's a couple guys where it's like, did it get old? So let me bring this up real quick. So, is Mike Vrabel the league dog, for example? He's had experience. Why didn't it work for him in Tennessee?
No quarterback.
Okay. He had no quarterback. He went to the AFC Championship. He's won his division.
He did. When he had Ryan Tannehill and he had, I can't forget the OC there at the time, turn Ryan Tannehill into a viable quarterback.
I think he had
I can't remember his name.
He had LaFleur.
No, he had another guy.
Breeze Nation, guy. You guys know. I think he had LaFleur.
Who was?
I think he had LaFleur.
That was when they did a lot of the play action, but they
ran the ball.
They ran the ball, right?
So, let me see. Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, here we go. So we got all these dang all these dang candidates, And when you're looking at these guys, right? The thing is like this. It's like, okay, why didn't it work for where you are? Why are you here? There's one thing to just be a failure. It's another thing that like your voice got old.
Well, who do you think it was a failure on the list? Let's start with the left. So you got McCarthy, not a failure. We went over him. He got 60%, winning percentage. You got Monken. He's been kind of solid on the offensive side.
Well, he's an OC. I'm saying I'm talking about a head coach that's had experience. My criteria for me is that I don't necessarily want a new guy coming in here trying to figure out how to be a head coach. I'm looking at McCarthy. I'm looking at Vrabel. I'm looking at John Gruden, even though that may not be a situation. I'm looking at Pete Carroll. I'm looking at Brian Flores. Those Cliff Kingsbury, even Arthur Smith. He was he didn't do, and Vance Joseph. Was that? Yeah, Vance Joseph. He was a head coach for the Cardinals, I think, or something like that.
I think he was the interim guy for a little bit.
No, he was the Broncos.
Yeah, he was a Broncos guy.
He's a Broncos head coach. So the idea is that I'm looking at these guys. Thank you, V-Dog. LaFleur was his OC before
Arthur Smith.
Yeah, right. but LaFleur was there before that. So my point is that why didn't it work for when you were the head coach? And so you look at McCarthy, and a lot of them
it worked. It worked for him, but his system got a little old. Rodgers didn't want to listen to him anymore. It was time for a change.
But a lot of times what ends up happening
is Carroll got kind of phased out because he wanted to take a little power away from Carroll.
Yeah.
I mean, not Carroll, Russ. And Flores was just a man beater over there. He was just too rough. Maybe he learned. That's what they said. He learned a little bit.
Yeah.
After he left Miami, that he should have had a more softer tone with some certain individuals. He can't, bully everybody.
Yeah.
And Kingsbury just didn't do well in Arizona. You know, because he was that one. He's basically got the same things happening in Washington. Is one read and run.
Steely E is stupid. Put Pat name up there too. If you get an interview, you get an interview. Everyone go home with interviews. That's a good one.
Hey, Pat for president. We'll put him up there.
Yeah, Pat for president. My thing is like, yes, but see, every situation is a little bit different. Supposedly with Vrabel, the situation is that the new ownership comes in. They have a difference of opinion, and they have a different way of culture and idea of how they want to vibe. So, that situation happens there. You couldn't get a quarterback because, what's the name? He got the most out of Tannehill.
Yeah.
So there's only so much you could do with that team. They had a good defense, and that team was maxed out. Mike McCarthy, yes, they had a long run. Teams got old. They couldn't turn over the defense. They had all those killers on defense. They had old boy that came from the Jaguars at the DC, Dom Capers.
Yeah.
They had
he had a good defense.
They had Clay Matthews Jr. or was it Matt Clay? No.
Yeah.
The other
Clay.
No, he's not Clay. It's the other Matthews, but they're all related. They had all those killers on defense, and you put and what's the name got old? Woodson. And then you still had the ascension of Aaron Rodgers. After a while, GMs don't know how to draft anymore. I mean, think about the 05 Bears squad.
But you look at the GM that was for McCarthy at that time. He was drafting people to fill out the team. He wasn't giving Aaron Rodgers what he wanted. And my only issue with Mike McCarthy is his system is a little bit old.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a little dated. And he has to, to me, refresh that a little bit, get a little bit more bring some Ben Johnson into his system.
Mm-hmm.
It's some new wrinkle that we haven't seen out of his system.
Yeah.
His system does work because it basically gives the quarterback all the information and basically says, if you getting this, you're going to either be over there or be over there, and it's up to you to choose.
But the either way, the thing is that with Aaron Rodgers, your system is going to be your system. The players have to execute. So the defense got old in Green Bay. Now in Dallas, it's like he's got some defense, he's got some players. But don't we all pretty much joke or say that Dak Prescott is the next Kirk Cousins? He's a good quarterback, but he's not necessarily going to be the guy that really leads you to a championship. So you have certain caps depending on your personnel. The same, like I said, the same thing happened with Angelo. He stopped being able to draft players. He stopped drafting Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, he couldn't.
He stopped hitting on them.
Pick for a while.
Yes, he had a good run. He picked a number of guys. After a while, he stopped being able to pick good guys, so there's no continuity. So Lovey, after a while, has an aging defense. And then the Bears ownership didn't do him any favors. They wouldn't extend him to give him the time to bring an offensive coordinator to give them some stability. So a lot of times these head coaches have all these different parameters of why it doesn't work and why it failed. Some of them may not actually just be good.
That's like Tomlin, though. You can say the same thing about Tomlin because he's only had mid quarterbacks since Roethlisberger left.
So the scouting, the drafting.
Exactly. So all of that has, put him in his perpetual 500 for a long time and hasn't been there. But with, like you said, with the right system, right quarterback, will he get back to that 11-5, 11-6 potential quarterback runs that he had with Roethlisberger?
Yeah, well, the thing is the talent. Andy Reid is a prime example of being a very good coach for a very long time, and you got the most out of whatever your talent that you had. It didn't work in Philly. He goes to Kansas City. He got the most out of Alex Smith and that great defense, and then he gets
petty.
He gets freaking Mahomes, and now this joker is running off championships. He didn't win a goddamn championship, but he was running his division for years.
Yeah.
And the same thing is like this. Tomlin inherits Roethlisberger because he inherited Cowher's team, and they got another championship out of that squad.
They went to the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah, well, but my point is that it's to a point where now that team is not the same team. All those guys are long gone. So either how you're drafting players and being able to offset that.
But he had a bad run of head cases because Antonio Brown, head case. Claypool, head case. Deion Johnson, head case. Yeah. And now he got another one. George Pickens, head case.
Well, that sounds like
but receivers. What they all have in common, though, is he's a leader of men.
The other thing why I put Lead Dog in here with Vrabel, because actually I see V Dog, his comment. Is there a relationship with Poles and Vrabel from the Chiefs, according to Albert Breer? The interesting thing is, if you look at it, I mean, Poles did sign Bayard.
Yeah.
He did sign Day-to-Day Davis, and he signed somebody else, I think, from Tennessee. So, like, I don't know if there is a connection there of liking that. I'm fine with Vrabel because I want Josh McDaniels. I saw some comments a while back about, like, I didn't know what I was talking about because I wanted to get Josh McDaniels, in the sense of, like, oh, we're not doing any research. First of all, the thing is that the history of McDaniels and the quarterbacks that he's coached, he has had a lot more success than he's had misses. Now, the issue is I'm not in the room. I don't know how his personality is, that it works, where is he losing a locker room? If that's the case, then I don't want you necessarily lose.
But he's not. We're not asking him to be in the locker room to be the head coach. We just want him to be the OC. He's been great as OC in all his stops.
That's what I want him. Be the OC and don't ever go anywhere else. It didn't work.
I think he learned it.
Yeah, you learn. You're not gonna get another head coach's job. Great, stay there. Baki's like, stop it. Josh McDaniels don't even be anywhere near my team. Look, if this dude get here and he turns Caleb into a Pro Bowler, this immediate coming up year, and we're going to the playoffs, I am happy. I am fine. I'm just tired of us being scared to go for what I think makes sense. The Bears are sitting there doing all this extra crap, and it's like the obvious choices might be there. Maybe Ben Johnson, of the ones that are not experienced, could possibly be that guy. It just worries me because he's never been a head coach before, and I don't need another rookie head coach trying to figure out. Now, if he ends up being the next Kevin O'Connell,
oh yeah,
okay, great. But that's not my job. Our job is to sit here, and we're sitting there as we analyze from our viewpoint of what's going on. I am not paid millions of dollars to make that determination. Your job, the Bears, is sitting up there in Hallis Hall. You guys are supposed to figure out what type of scheme works for this type of player, these pairings of players with coaches. That's your job to do that stuff. So, like, I can sit there and say from the outside, as I put my GM hat on, I'm going to put my GM hat on. This is what I would do. This is what I would have did. There's a lot of things I would have done and had us winning last year. I would have got Harbaugh. I probably would have kept Fields just to hold on to him. I would have got another Hall. I would have got my offensive line fixed. I would have did all those things.
Agreed.
But hey,
agreed.
I'm just the lowly, super producer guy out here. You know what I'm saying? But either way, man. Oh, by the way, we got over 200 in the chat.
Ooh, 200.
200. We got 300 in the chat.
Whoa, keep going. 300.
300. We're just getting excited, man. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like we're at a point. Gucci, yeah, I'm with you. Just pick the right person. That's your job to do this. We can't keep going through this.
I think we have to get it right this year because we have never. This is like last year when we had the number one pick. We had the media all on our backs to make sure we got the pick right. The media is all on us again to make the right pick on the head coach. We made the right pick quarterback wise. We went through that earlier this week and last week.
Yeah,
I think with the media attention, we're going to make it right again with regards to this, head coaching. That's why I think it's so wide open. They want to have the perception that we're overturning everything, every leaf, pebble, rock, stone, everything to potentially, find the right guy.
Yeah, but like you do all this stuff and you still get it wrong, you're gonna look like a complete moron.
Oh, it's gonna be over there.
Like my thing is like, okay, now Brian Flores. My preference is that I'd rather more of an offensive guy to pair with the QB, but Flores is a dog. The defense, he's got them like the number one defense. They blitz. That's the type of defense I want. I don't want a pushover weak defense. I don't like bend don't break defense. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. As much as I get a lot of flack for the 05 and 06 defense, technically I didn't like the defense because it wasn't an attacking defense. It was a bend don't break. They let you get all the way to the red zone, and then they would they wait for you to
make mistakes. The Tampa 2 is for mistakes. It's like you can't literally go down the field for 12 play drives every time. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna do something. So you're gonna give us the ball and you're gonna give us a short field. But as far as Flores, I like his defense, but his personality, that is what's, in the air, speculative of him being a successful head coach, is his change in how he deals with personnel.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like it's the all like we still got to contend with Ryan Poles, right? As he wants to be the GM, and it's fine. We have had some success of a successful GM being able to pick players and kind of put a team together. The issue is, can he do another iteration of that? Angelo,
Who do you think Flores's OC would be? Like who was there in Miami?
I don't know.
Because I don't remember his OC in Miami.
I don't know.
I know his defense was good, but I don't remember who his OC was.
But that's my point. Like, if we get him, he's a more aggressive Eberflus that now we know we're gonna have a good defense. Okay, what offensive coordinator are you gonna put in there? I don't know. But my thing is like, if that's what they like and they're gonna pick him, then we're gonna go with this guy. We do know there's gonna be some level of success, but are we gonna suffer on the offensive side because we don't know what coordinator they're gonna put in here?
Carroll did interview today. What do you think about him?
Pete Carroll. My thing is this. I like Pete Carroll. I just think he's only going to be here for like 5 years. So do you trade off and take 5 years of, a level of respectability? Does he have a succession plan in place? Because once he gets here, are we able to I'd rather have that because we've had nothing. He has one, but he's more of a DC too. So what offensive guy are you going to bring in to go for this? The thing is who was it? We got what did Pat say? Pat said, let me see. Let's see. Pat said, Pete Carroll had 10 Super Bowl, 10 playoff wins in 10 years, and the Bears have 10 playoff wins in 60 years. Oh, that's funny. Dennis Moody, you are hilarious. Yes, we got some cars to sell.
Right. Yes, Joe is a used car salesman.
Come on down to Breeze Media. Yeah. Let me see. No, I mean, the thing is like, is Vrabel the lead dog? He's not an offensive guy neither, but is he bringing in the right coordinator? What if Brian Flores brings in the hot new coordinator guy that ends up working? But can the Bears make that determination? That's the frustrating part about this. You keep regurgitating. The funniest thing is hearing George McCaskey sit there and say the same crap for the last 10 plus years about the Bears deserve a winner and we're going to learn the process. He said did you see that one comment? One of the reporters asked him, like, what makes you think it's going to be different this time? I mean, just tried to stun him. And he's like, well, because Poles he's done a lot better job. And also we're going to lean more on Kevin Warren to make that, because that process is going to be better. But he stunned him to make him think about it.
Because that question was actually a very good, honest question. What makes things differently this time?
I don't know. And my thing is, if you got to pull in 20 people because you can't figure out how do you build a squad, it makes me a little nervous. And
that's why I said Flores is good, but I don't want him as the head coach, because like I said, his personnel is not top tier for me. I
mean, hey, to me, whoever we get, it doesn't matter, right? We gotta wait and see what the product's going to be once they get out there. We can just, the thing is, with an experienced coach, there's a good chance of figuring out, like, okay, you're going to have a level of success. Depending on some of these guys. Pete Carroll, I would think we have a level of success there. Arthur Smith, I don't know about that. I mean, did he learn from from what he went through in Atlanta? What kind of DC is he going to bring in? To me, I think they're going to bring in a similar coordinator to be able to run this defense.
I kind of like if they found the OC. There was someone in the tree where what was the QB out in Atlanta?
Who?
The one that went to the Super Bowl. Oh my God! What's his name?
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. If they can bring somebody they can run that offense, because that was run heavy and pass heavy. I know, but somebody, like I said, on that tree that we could run a similar offense, that would work for me, for Caleb, in my opinion.
Yeah, but now that's probably. I mean, who is that? Who's the OC? I don't
know. Man, we got super chat.
Yeah, I see you. B Sam, shout out to B Sam. Said Bears better swerve the corner. Whoa.
A little ball out there, huh?
Swerve the corner. I don't like our front office at all. Dennis Moody, you fire coach season. Who's it? Samarian said you fire coach this season. You got to know who you want to interview, and 30 people only to hire the defensive coordinator or the Broncos. That's what's going to happen. To me, it's just a lot going on in terms of trying to figure out what they're doing up there.
Do we give Aaron Glenn a shot?
But to me, Aaron Glenn, Brian Flores, all the DC guys to me are all the same. Like Aaron Glenn is probably,
but Aaron Glenn, you might be able to get the OC from maybe them from Minnesota. No, who is the offensive pass game coordinator for Minnesota? You might be able to get him as the OC, but like you said, this goes back. That goes back to.
But he's a first-time head coach.
That's why I say this goes back to a rookie out there.
I don't know if I want another stinking rookie, but we've been through. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done. There's been tons of head coaches who have had their first time being a head coach, and they've been successful. And the thing is like, I was going to circle back to my point about Pete Carroll, because I was actually talking to Pat earlier. And we were saying, like, how many coaches are really gonna, like, everybody wants a 10-year head coach, 10 years, how rare is it? And so you start going through it. Tomlin, 18 years, John Harbaugh, 17 years. Even thinking your boy Sean McVay is at 8 years now. I think eight, something like that. Shanahan, he's at 8 years, 8 or 9, somewhere they're all in that kind of range. So, like, we're at a point where, how do coaches actually really make it to 10 years and really are they that successful, or do they really have more like a 3 to 4 year window of being hot before their voice starts to get tuned out?
It depends. If you have a good GM, if you have good drafting, then the coaches stick around. But the minute that one or two of those falters, coaches are gone in 5,
right?
Because so it's a mixture of, like you said, a mixture of personnel and personality. You got to have both to be a successful head coach.
But my thing is, like, even a good head coach's voice is gonna get tuned out after a while. Shout out, we got super chat. Dan Tanner said, "Yo, Joe, give me that suit jacket, bro. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. You can't fit this jacket, can you? I mean, this is tailored to fit a certain way, man. I appreciate you though." I would say that's what's funny about this. Pete Carroll might be the best guy in general, but the whole point is, like, people think that these coaches are going to be here 10 plus years. Was Lovey's voice stale by the 10th year?
I don't think so.
It was. He got fired.
But he didn't get. I don't think he got fired because of his voice. I think he got fired because he was in mediocrity for a while.
Okay, is the same. The whole point of Mike Tomlin, 18 years. How many years of that were really good years where he's still relevant? Now, the only guy to me that seems relevant is John Harbaugh. He seems to have a pulse and is running his team, but also he transitioned from having Ray Lewis and all those boys. He had Joe Flacco. They won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. He falls off the face of the earth, basically falls hard. They end up drafting Lamar, and now they got a 3-time MVP. And so now he's able to continue his run.
But you know what? All those have in common is good organizations.
Okay,
you got Baltimore as a good organization,
right? And
you had San Francisco, good organization. The Rams now are a good organization,
right?
Seattle had a solid organization too before they started to give Russell too much power. So like you said, all those things have in common for those people that's been there 10 plus years is great organizations, which will we want the Bears to be eventually, right?
Okay, so there you have it, right? If you go for Carroll, you're only going to get 5 years, but if you have a good organization and good things put in place, you can get 10 to 15 years out of a head coach. So maybe it doesn't make sense to get Carroll unless there is a succession plan in place to allow that to happen. Because you got to – the thing is that we got to get, the culture put in place. The Bears have done everything backwards. They let the old freaking president buy land in Arlington Heights. They hired a GM. No, they actually picked the coach first. Then they hired the GM. The GM hired the coach 2 days later.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
I know they did. Everything is backwards with them. So then we hire a president of football who now wants to kind of redo what the other idiot did by buying the land out in Arlington. Like, why would you let him do that? And everything's backwards. We're firing the coach that you should have got rid of last year, but you kept him. And so now you got to redo all this stuff because now it starts from the top down. We don't know how good Kevin Warren really is. If Kevin Warren and now with Poles, they work together. Of all these things happen to then bring in a coach, to bring in, now we have a quarterback. Like, we actually have a quarterback. Is this finally going to be set the right way? Let me see. Roddy B said, I don't understand why Bears fans don't want McCarthy but want Tomlin when they got the exact same resume. I mean, either way, I think you
I like
can't
either
lose
one of
either
them.
way.
I like either one of them. Like I said, I like McCarthy, but I'm just afraid of his, kind of archaic system. But I like him.
No, my thing is, I don't have to trade Jack to get McCarthy if he's not resigned. He could just walk his butt right on up to Hallis Hall.
Next Wednesday, he can come on over.
Let's do it.
The price is right.
Let's do it. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, what, who they decide, what their reasoning is. Breeze Nation, what do you guys think? I mean, what do you think is the lead dog? I was reading kind of an article, and they had all these coaches ranked of who the top coaching candidates so far. And at this time, it was 15. Number 1 was Ben Johnson. 2 was Brian Flores. Todd Monken was number 3. Anthony Weaver, DC for the Dolphins, is 4. Joe Brady, OC from the Bills, 5. Mike McCarthy, 6. Vrabel, 7. Aaron Glenn, 8. Pete Carroll, 9. Cliff Kingsbury, 10. Drew Petzing, his name just popped. Now you talk about throwing some stuff and all. His name just came out of nowhere.
Hey, but he's actually
an OC for the Cardinals.
Kid put a little information out there that he actually has been around for a little bit.
Oh, I'm just saying, but in terms of the cycle, now that's the thing. Are the Bears brain trust? Are they really able to see what head coach is coming in here? What type of system is he bringing in? How's his organization? How does he manage his team? How does he manage the day-to-day of the entire team? How does he go about meeting with his OC, his DC, his scouting, his coaches? How does he go about this process? Will he be able to do those things? And so where some guys, they're not even involved with the DC room. They're not involved with this. They don't know what they're doing. How do we know what they're looking for to ask those right questions? Mike Ross had, what did he say? Mike Ross put Johnson number 1, Vrabel number 2.
Honestly, the top 5, if you did any kind of research, the top 5 is, Johnson, Vrabel, McCarthy, if he becomes available.
Uh-huh.
And, I would probably take Aaron Glenn over Brian Flores. I probably would do that. Like I said, I'm worried about Flores and his personality, but it that all depends on what you value. Are you valuing somebody with experience doing that anymore, or are you going to put value in somebody being innovative and fresh to the game that sees things in a different perspective?
Daryl Davis said, "Watch the front office get cute."
But that means Arthur Smith did.
King George, I like what he said. Arthur Smith has a scheme that resonates with what we need to do on offense, commitment to the run and play action off of a running game. Hey, amen to that. I said that. I'm like, it's cold in Chicago. Yeah, you could throw the ball. That's cool. But you kind of had to have a run-oriented kind of offense here. If we're going to win our division, if we're going to beat and take home games, we need to have, one, the offensive line fixed. We need to establish a running game. And you can't sit there and just throw all the time when it gets cold like that, because that ball gets hard. These jokers ain't catching like that.
It is, but it depends on if you're moving to Arlington Heights and making that dome.
It won't matter if we get a dome, but right now it's terrible. It is 20 degrees out here. If they had hosted a game this weekend, it sucks outside right now.
Hey, but you look at it like Buffalo. Buffalo is cold. Buffalo runs the ball,
but they're building a stadium.
Buffalo's building
across
stadium.
The street. They're building a brand new stadium because they're getting tired of getting dumped.
Hey, that's snow hits terrible.
That hits different up there.
It does. But like now, it depends. Like it says, if we're doing it like we always done it, we're good enough to bus running like old Papa Bear used to do. Then yeah, you need to have one of those bully offensive lines and bully running back that's going to go and smash mouth football.
Oh, I see Pat's up here. Why didn't Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen need to be running first? Running backs matter. Running back lives matter. running backs.
Hey, hold on. No, real talk though. I was watching some news thing this morning. Running backs are definitely being valued more. They're not going to be back like they was in like 2010.
Yeah.
But they're getting to be a little bit more value closer to like, the 2018 type of running back.
Well, okay, let me go back to Pat's thing. So Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, did they not have good running backs on their squads when they were winning?
They did.
I remember Tom Brady winning with Corey Dillon.
Yeah.
I remember when they had a really good offensive line and they were running. They had a very strong defense. They used to beat the brakes off of Peyton Manning and his finesse squad for years when they come to Foxborough. With Aaron Rodgers, they had a good running team over there and they had a really good defense. And when they were at home dominating, they had my thing is you got to have a balanced squad. It's not just a pass first thing. Josh Allen and them, they run up there.
Because even with one of the greatest offensive teams, the greatest show on turf, they threw the ball, but Marshall Faulk was a Hall of Fame running back. Had some running yards too. Yes. Don't get that wrong. So passing does work, but you definitely need a running game. You just don't got to pay him the $20 million, but you got to have a solid running game.
Buggy's stupid. They ain't valued by Pat. Pat's first words will be, "We don't pay running backs." No, his son will say that. He's like, "I just owed you."
Right. We gonna his uncles are gonna make him a running back just to make Pat mad.
I'm just saying, even with Pete Carroll, he won a Super Bowl. Guess what? He had Russell Wilson. He had beast mode.
Yeah, beast mode.
Great defense. You know what I'm saying? Like the teams, you got to have a level of balance. True. And of course, there's times where a quarterback will win the game. But Tom Brady didn't win all the Super Bowls by himself.
No.
Special teams, defense, running. It was whatever iteration. The one year that they lost when they went undefeated, they were a passing squad. And with my favorite player of all time,
what happened? They lost.
And they lost.
They lost when it mattered.
You know what I'm saying? Like even when they won in Tampa Bay, he had all the complement of receivers and a running back. They had a Fournette.
And that's why Atlanta didn't win that year, is because they had no running game.
But having a running game,
they had no running game in that Super Bowl, and that's why Brady was able to come back. Because if you had any ounce of running game in that Atlanta Super Bowl, they run the clock down. Brady does not get the ball 5 times in the one half and come back and win.
So I mean, the thing is that the coach coming here, understanding what kind of are we going to come in with a good system. I'm not saying it has to be all run per se, but it just has to be able to be a balanced squad where one, we're able to be multifaceted, whether you can run the ball, whether I thought the scheme that we have is basically a running type scheme. It's just that what's his name? The coordinator here, he wanted to pass more than he wanted to run the ball. Last year, we actually established a sense of a run, but they actually had shut down Justin Fields from running a lot. It was, they had a dual running back threat with Herbert and what you call it. So
Roshan.
Roshan. Yeah, with Roshan. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. What coach is going to come in and kind of get that. I would think that we could probably hit the ground running with a coach that has already been, has the level of success. So
give me your top 3.
My top 3.
Give me your top 3.
Right at this moment, I'm going to go Mike McCarthy. I'm going Pete Carroll, and I'm going Mike Vrabel, or my top 3.
Okay, my top 3 is Vrabel, Johnson, and I'm going to go on a Hail Mary, and I'm going to go Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, okay.
Because Pete Carroll, even his worst years are still 7-win seasons.
Mm-hmm.
7 wins for a Bears fan right now, and we've been in purgatory for the longest. I'll take right now.
Yeah. Now, Ben Johnson, it's not that I don't have Ben Johnson probably could be that guy. I need the Bears to make that determination to know that he's that guy. I just know based off my experience as a Bears fan, it is a 50-50 shot of hiring another first-time head coach to be the guy. He could be Arthur Smith. He could be Kyle Shanahan.
I think he's going to be closer to Matt LaFleur,
that's all winning
in LA.
Yeah. Or
McVay. I think he's on that aspect because he's got so many different wrinkles in his offense. Like if you look at Kingsbury, he was a hot shot OC, but he basically he was a one read go type of OC. He didn't have a lot of depth to his offense. You look at Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith was more or less a running of running, but he didn't have the exotic runs. Even though they were solid, they didn't have a lot of exotic, things.
Well,
that's why I say Johnson is. I'm leaning him more to be more like the McVay, because even when he runs the ball, the way he runs the ball, he runs this outside zone, but he does have the talent on the ends to do that. Yeah. So I believe that he will be successful if he gets the talent that he needs, compared to some of the other ones, the coaches that I've been around that make the best out of nothing, like a Tomlin type of guy.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I want to have confidence that they can get this right. I'm starting to teeter in my confidence that they will. Even Pat says he doesn't think they're going to. He thinks they're still going to mess.
He think they're going to flus it.
I mean, that's just going to suck. I mean, I want them to. They got to figure this out. It is too important of a decision to make to not get this right. And I just feel like I would rather lean more towards experience than leaning toward inexperience. Now, again, if Ben Johnson, if he comes here,
but I'm going to support
whatever my head coach is. I'm going to support him,
and he turns out to be so great.
Maybe that's on the Bears to make that determination. I don't have a phone call into any of those guys to tell them what I'd like to do.
Where's Pat at? Pat, get in the chat. Pat has the inside. Pat, get in the chat and tell us.
He goes to Hallis Hall. He's up in there.
Where's Pat?
Go tell him what to do.
Right, go tell him what to do.